Put down that original recipe and grab some extra spicy fried chicken, because the original most disliked person of second stimulus could soon become its poster child. Hey, good evening, everybody. This is LALATE and LALATE Evenings. Hope you're great. This is a special broadcast about stimulus and the man who's now likely to spearhead you getting stimulus checks, FPUC extension, eviction moratorium, all things that he has talked about no less than a dozen times in the last 24 hours. His name is Mitch McConnell. I can't even believe I'm recording this. Hope your Sunday afternoon is going great. Boy, I mean, when this channel started picking up for weeks ago, 5-6 weeks ago, I was just tar and feathering Mitch McConnell at every step I could. And I just, remember how he was then? He basically said he wasn't going to give you stimulus because he didn't know if you were suffering. He tarnished you. He disparaged you. He said you're getting rich off the American dollar. You didn't want to go back to work. All that stuff. And then this happened. Whether he's a little bit, changes his mind or what it is, there's now new indication that tonight, this is the man who's going to get it done for you. And I can't even believe I'm reporting this. No, I'm not praising the man. I'm just praising the moment. Let me explain what's going on. All indications suggest now that the Senate is going to be the place at which a second stimulus deal starts and finishes. That is going to begin in the Senate, not with the HEALS Act, not with the Republican skinny bill, but with a brand new proposal, get done there, move back to the House without the Temple of Doom ever opening its doors, and then land in the president's hands. What's going on? And it's this report, an incredible insight in the second stimulus negotiations, which I had never heard of, that was published just about an hour or two ago. And it involved direct interviews with Mitch McConnell that explained why this got so weird. Here's how it started strange. Back in the spring, when the first stimulus package deal was done, everyone was involved in negotiations. It wasn't 4 people. It was dozens and dozens and dozens of people in the House and the Senate, Republicans and Democrats in the cabinet. Mitch McConnell was involved as well. When the second stimulus package came around and the Temple of Doom unleashed the HEROES Act, Mitch McConnell said, I just don't know now. Remember that guy? It was at that time that he absolutely infuriated Chuck Schumer. And at that time, Chuck Schumer said that Mitch McConnell would never be in the negotiations to get it done. It's not quite clear why Mitch McConnell agreed not to be in them, but he ultimately said, okay, you don't want to have me in the negotiations? Don't have me in the negotiations. And so they had Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin instead. When asked if he felt that he had been excluded and how that may have impacted the negotiations over the last 2 weeks, he says a big moment, an important moment for the history of the country. It does happen to be occurring in closer proximity to the election than those other big deals. More about that in a second. He's basically suggesting that the fact that the negotiations is now brought it so close to the election is an issue. When the HEROES Act was approved and Mitch McConnell said, thank you, but I'm not going to deal with it, that put the Temple of Doom and Chuck Schumer at odds. At that point, they said, you know what, you're not coming around. He's not even sitting in the room. Chuck Schumer, Democrat of New York and minority leader, said on Tuesday, when asked why Mitch McConnell has not been in the rooms. He was given the name Moscow Mitch, and then he was ridiculed by Chuck repeatedly and said, hey, you don't deserve to be in the negotiations. Ultimately, it hurt the negotiations. As you've seen from the majority leader, Mr. McConnell, they don't have the votes. They have the votes for practically nothing. They haven't passed anything. They don't even have the votes for their own 51. The trash talking, ironically, didn't help them as well. What ultimately started to formulate was that Republicans were getting ammunition among Democrats who were irate that the House hadn't gotten anything done since receiving an omen from the people that the HEROES Act was too big. Pushing the pause button meant seeing how we had already done, what we had already done is working, said McConnell, when asked about the original CARES Act. This is not play money. What McConnell has detailed over the last couple of days in these interviews is that stimulus checks have to go out. They have to go out right away. Enhanced unemployment benefits have to be paid right now. Eviction moratoriums need to be done right now. I mean, everything that the Purple Power talks about, it's incredibly great news. So why has it not been done? He says because when you look at the proposal from the Temple of Doom at 3.6 or 2.6 or 2.4, it just has a lot of stuff in there that has nothing to do with COVID-19 money. I do a divided conference on whether to go forward. I personally think we need to do another bill. Here came another twist, which I had always thought about. I had reported on this channel, but I wasn't certain for beyond disbelief. I had always reported that the HEALS Act that Mitch introduced was drafted by him and that the president didn't like it. Didn't like it is not a strong enough word. This report says the president despised Mitch's HEALS Act when it was introduced. What's ironic was before the HEALS Act it was introduced, there was so much dramatics about it. There were reports said by Mnuchin and McConnell that they had both drafted over 2 weeks together. There were reports that they were fighting hours before it was released. There were reports that McConnell went home to Kentucky that weekend before it was released, and Mnuchin went to the Hill. There were reports days after it was released that Mnuchin started doing his own version of talking. Now we know what went on. It's not entirely a rational reaction from some of my members. They say they haven't seen what we've allocated. What happened was McConnell was really trying to appease some Republicans who didn't want to give a lot of money. And so he was embodying some certain things. But what ultimately happened was the White House did not like the HEALS Act. Every decision I make about this sort of thing is entirely calculated. What's the calculation for this one, Mitch? It eliminates sitting there having to listen to Temple Doom. We don't talk about her name anymore. And McConnell's talking points, which gets in the way of serious discussions. Meadows and Mnuchin are not hiding the ball from me. I'm not hiding the ball from my colleagues. What the report goes on to say is that the president was just irate when he heard about the HEALS Act. McConnell said that he talks to the president frequently, and they consulted by phone even this last Wednesday, celebrated Kansas victory. He said that the president's commitment to getting an agreement, a second stimulus package deal, was illustrated by the fact that the two dispatched top advisors to handle negotiations. Still, this is what the report indicates, the president has not tried to hide his disdain for McConnell's proposal, the HEALS Act. The president called the plan semi-irrelevant when it was rolled out. He blasted Senate Republicans for backing away for his demands from a federal building. Yeah, remember that FBI building? Saying it should go back to school and learn. He sent mixed signals on only a provision that McConnell said the red line, a liability shield, and clung to payroll tax that everyone else had dismissed. I mean, this we already knew. Mitch wanted that liability provision and says it's a do-or-die provision, whereas the White House wanted that payroll tax, which is now by executive order. The fight over the package between McConnell, the HEALS Act, and the president got even more strange when we talked about extension of unemployment benefits, which McConnell blames Schumer, and Schumer blames McConnell. They claim that the Senate knew that the FPUC was expiring in July, and that they both singularly tried to not get it done at the time. So who do you think was to blame, Schumer or McConnell? Love to hear your comments. It's strange reason for later McConnell to criticize those who actually engaged in negotiations while he's intentionally staying out of them, says Schumer. Wait, on page 3, Schumer said he's not allowed to be in the negotiations. On this page, page 5, he says McConnell's intentionally staying out of them. Which one is it, Chuck? I mean, I know you do Broadway, but, just when you're reciting Lady Macbeth, keep the lines straight at least. Despite the back and forth, McConnell predicted an agreement would be reached. If I were betting, I would bet it would get an outcome. I still bet on the result, says McConnell. Senator John Cochran of Texas, a top McConnell ally, says that McConnell has proven himself a legislative magician in the past, able to conjure a rabbit out of the hat. I keep on asking if I see any fuzzy ears, but all he can say is if he feels any fuzzy ears right now, they may be there. As this channel reported earlier today, what's going to happen is you're going to see movement like you've never seen movement, and a lot of confusion. It's going to be here and there and there and here when you've been over, several weeks used to just 2 bills. HEALS Act, HEROES Act, this person, that person, 4 people. You had your cast of characters. You remembered the reoccurring soap opera. Now it's going to get a lot more free-for-all. As the Senate reconvenes, Mitch is going to get them in there. Mitch is going to move the stimulus. Mitch is going to move a stimulus package. He also has to do the balance in the budget by September 30th. He's insisting these stimulus checks go out. He's up for re-election. You're going to get stimulus checks. You're going to get all these wonderful things. But the path to get to them is totally changed, totally renewed. The Temple of Dooms, it's not on the star maps anymore. We're just not visiting the Temple of the Doom. It's just Celebrity Homes map. It's not on there anymore. So for now, maybe Grubhub, if you got to deliver some food, maybe skip that house. Go to the next one. What a week it has been. It started the weekend with the president saying he's raising the offer to 13. Did I just say 13? $1.3 trillion. An incredible offer. The president has said he's going to give you FPUC. The president said he's going to give you more stimulus. The president said he wants to protect frontline workers and give them money. All these things are going to come to fruition because what you haven't seen is cohesive ability to deliver them. With that, boy, what a day it's been. We started last week with 200,000 subscribers. I said, hey, let's try to add 25,000 in 2 weeks. We did in 1 week. Congratulations. Today we reached 225,000 subscribers. Wow, what an achievement. The channel is less than what? 4 months old and 4 months and 1 week old. It's just incredible. So the new goal is to add 25,000 more subscribers in the next 2 weeks. So tell your friends to subscribe. Tell your mom, tell your daughter, tell your neighbor, hey, come on, subscribe to that channel. Hit the alert button. They're both at the front of this channel. Subscribe and hit alert. I'm going to be rolling out some really fun stuff for you to enjoy over the next couple of days, so get ready for that. And then like this video. Hit the like because it helps the algorithm. It helps the algorithm because there's those people out there who, do these stories. I'm just like, one said the stimulus package is going to send you checks next week. I'm like, so by liking this video, the algorithm likes it and it puts this video above other videos that just tell you strange, weird UFO stories. Coming up tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, is Morning to LA. Please tune into that. A lot of fun. As always, stay informed, stay motivated, stay smiling. Have a great Sunday evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend and stay of LA for more.